so ugly that the mainstream media, who has now deemed it a Nazi rally, a hate rally, instead of embracing the fact that we have somebody who is willing to put America first as opposed to America last over the last 4 years, or maybe just at least acknowledging that this is something that is very powerful, instead of attacking it in the most false, defamatory way imaginable. Maybe just comment on it and actually do your job. You're supposed to be in service to the American public. Maybe just report on the facts. Report on what was actually said. Report on the actual feeling that absolutely overwhelmed the entire atmosphere of that electric Madison Square Garden audience. But instead, we get this. I think this entire network should be completely dismantled, taken off the air, have their license revoked. MSNBC called Trump's MSG rally comes 85 years after pro-Nazi rally at famed arena. I'm not even going to play the clip because it gets me so mad. But essentially, they concocted this insane story about how this was essentially another Klan meeting, another Nazi rally by a dictator, and they are still fomenting the flames of dissent and animus by equating Trump with Hitler. I don't know about you, but I've never ever seen any footage, photographs, historical record whatsoever of a Nazi Klan rally having a Jewish speaker, an African American speaker, and an Indian American speaker all at the same place. Or see a plethora of Jewish Americans there in solidarity at a Nazi Klan rally, MSNBC? I don't think so. Check out this Jewish American and her take after being at the rally herself in person. Check this out. This is amazing.
I just got back from Donald Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden. I'm a Jewish New York Republican, and I have seen the mainstream media calling this a Nazi rally. And that couldn't be further from the truth. There were so many Jews there, just like myself. There was Israeli flags, and nearly every single speaker talked about their commitment to upholding the relationship between U.S. and Israel. Not to mention all the Latinos for Trump, gays for Trump, and nearly every other group that would have never been allowed in if this was actually a Nazi rally. Kamala Harris could literally bring Adolf Hitler on her stage, and the mainstream media still wouldn't call it a Nazi rally. Their lies are futile. Trump is winning this election in 9 days. Make sure you get out, vote early, and vote for Donald Trump.
May I remind you, fake woke mafia media, this is a picture of Jimmy Carter, President Jimmy Carter, attending his Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden in 1980. Where's your comparisons there? What about Clinton in 1992? Check this out. Rally at Madison Square Garden. No comparisons there. Because it's Trump, we get headlines like this. Even worse, garbage like this. Listen to Mika, whatever the hell her name is.
I think a lot of people are seeing that rally at Madison Square Garden, seeing all those people. Doesn't mean he's going to win the race, but my point is it's discouraging that so many people would gather and rally to hate speech in America. That it's discouraging and it hurts that people who have family in Puerto Rico, who are Puerto Rican Americans, who are American citizens, are hearing hate like that. It's discouraging.
In regards to her hate and Nazi, and I'm not even going to play you what AOC said because AOC is so out of her element, out of her depth. With all intents and purposes, she is slated to lose her seat in November. Please go out there and vote like yesterday if you haven't already. There was not a molecule of hate at that rally. Not one. I know what hate looks like. Okay? My parents were immigrants in the 70s. They had me and my brother born, raised, and made in America. I was raised with this jet black dark hair, dark eyes, dark eyelashes in Evansville, Indiana. I know what hate feels like. I was literally this dark dude dropped in the middle of a milk carton of a society and a region. And I know exactly what hate looks like, feels like, smells like, and tastes like. And let me tell you something. Trump's rally, all of Trump's advocacy, everything he says and talks about. Does he say insane things sometimes? Of course. We all do. It's called being a man. It's called being authentic. Okay? Nobody's perfect. It's called being an imperfect human being. There was not a shred of hate anywhere near any Trump events, any Trump rallies. You should be ashamed of yourself, MSNBC. You should be ashamed of yourself, AOC. And the joke that she's referring to, the Puerto Rican joke by Tony Hinchcliffe, there is absolutely no levity. It was a joke. Was it a great joke? Maybe, maybe not. But it was a joke. It was just a joke. And there is nothing more suffocating than being around somebody who takes themselves so seriously. America, when did we take ourselves so seriously? These people have zero levity. Even Don Lemon got on his high horse and started. I mean, they're just jumping on this Puerto Rican thing like crazy because they know Kamala is an absolute train wreck. The polls, everything is showing that she's absolutely, even Biden admits she's going to lose this badly. They're just jumping on this because they have nothing else, no substance, nothing at all. When did we lose our sense of humor? Let me ask you this. Can we make America fun again? Can we make America humorous again? If you think I'm way off on this, check out what actual real Puerto Ricans say about this. Listen to this.
I've already had a few people tag me in the videos of the comedian today at the Trump rally insulting Puerto Rico, or what they felt like was an insult. As a Puerto Rican American myself, my dad grew up in Puerto Rico. I was not insulted by this in the very least. Number one, this guy is a comedian. Number two, the clip that they don't show you from right before that is him joking with Latino Americans about a bunch of stuff in our culture. And if you know anything about a Latino American or a Hispanic American, we are our worst critics. We harass and make fun of each other. Or if you gave two shits about Puerto Rico or learned anything that's going on there, you would know that this guy's not talking about Puerto Rican people. He's talking about the island of Puerto Rico, which has a massive pollution problem. Tons of trash washes up on this beach every single day, and it looks like a landfill. And there's been a huge problem there since the last hurricane. You know, the one that wiped out people's houses that they did nothing to help with? What a cheap shot they're trying to make while Kamala Harris is at a African-American church in Pennsylvania with a whole new accent she picked up today. But guys, it's not working. It's just not working. Don't come after us Latino Americans, and definitely don't come after us Puerto Rican Americans, because we ain't here for your guys' bullshit. New York City is turning red. Trump will be the next president of the United States, and you guys are going to have to learn how to live with it. And if under some miracle, even though he's winning in every single swing state he isn't, we're going to stay here and we're going to fight for the next 4 years to get our country back, no matter what happens, because God only knows we'll be in the middle of World War III by then.
Media is claiming that the comedian made it all about race, but actually he wasn't. He was literally poking fun at the island's infamous trash problem that young, smart, intelligent Puerto Rican lady just said. But the media is acting all ignorant now, even though they've been covering it for literally years. Another quick clip from some Puerto Ricans who were actually at the rally last night.
We like jokes. We like jokes.
We do. And we understand the importance of a comedian having the freedom to push the envelope, because that's always been what has separated comedians from like everyday folks, right? Mm-hmm. Where they can push the envelope to either make you laugh or make you think or challenge you, right?
And it's okay to have different opinions. That's what makes America great, that people could just have different opinions. So you know what? We're not offended. Did we like the joke?
No,
I didn't like the joke. I don't even think the crowd, he bombed that joke.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. Don't get me wrong. At first, I'm like,
the joke
wow, that's
in
crazy.
New York City maybe was not like in the right landing.
Probably right. Probably not the
right landing.
Here's a couple more from our awesome creator, Lou Valentino, LV Nation. Big shout out to Lou Valentino. Check this out right here. He recorded this right outside Madison Square Garden.
Live from the Garden.
The rally was great.
Puerto Ricans for Trump. Trump 2024.
Yo, now that I got my fellow Puerto Ricans, obviously what happened there tonight, everybody's talking about it.
Epic.
But the Puerto Rican joke, the garbage island stuff, do you guys even give a
No,
I don't. No, I don't.
I don't even pay a mind. I don't even pay attention to it.
I don't. Puerto Ricans for Trump.
That's what I love, that real Americans understand the power of free speech, the necessity for that civil liberty, and how it should not be abridged or impinged upon. And they also understand that, hey, you know what? Everybody has different opinions. It's okay. That's what makes America great again. You can joke. We don't have to get all huffy and puffy, call them Nazis, and get all completely out of whack and try to cancel. Cancel culture is dead in our country. There's been so many beautiful exposures in 2024. I just absolutely love it. The exposure of higher education, what we saw in those campus protests and pro-Hamas and the woke ideologies, the exposure of DEI, the exposure of plagiarism, the exposure of Biden and his mental capacity, the exposure of the government, overspending, inflation. And now I love it, the exposure of the media in its full force. I mean, we've known the media's lied to us forever, but I think 2024, it's really landing strong. And I'm going to share something in just a second, but why the double standard? Here's another proof that the media is absolutely full of hypocrisy. George Lopez at a Tim Walz rally just yesterday made a joke about Mexicans being thieves. Listen to this.
Donald Trump said he was going to build a wall, and George Lopez said, you better build it in one day, because if you leave that material out there overnight.
Where's the outrage for that? Where's the outrage of George Lopez at a Tim Walz? You don't see the Republicans, you don't see the Trump campaign going absolutely beep crazy over that, do you? And where's the outrage for this? I don't know if you guys saw or heard about this, but I'd like to call out you, AOC. What do you think of this fraudulent picture where somebody tried to post this? If you see the picture on the right-hand side of your screen of Kamala Harris saying, oh, look, I found an old photo of Kamala Harris in a Mickey D's outfit. She wasn't lying after all, only to be debunked as a complete lie. If you look at the photo on the left, it was a Photoshop of the young lady right there, the young white Caucasian lady right there, which is interesting given all this crap that's been going on. It was a complete lie, a complete, utter lie. Where's the outrage, radical left? 2024 is the utter exposure of the propagandist machine that you and I have been talking about for a long time, my fellow Americans in this nation. Just take a real careful watch of this clip right here, of what they thought of Kamala Harris only not so long ago, just a few years ago, even a few months ago. Check out this clip and then come on back.
There are reports that say that you have the lowest approval rating of any vice president. Well, there are polls that also say I have great approval ratings.
Swing voters don't like Harris. How big a drag is Kamala Harris on the ticket?
She's a pretty big drag. I think she was arguably Biden's worst political decision.
They don't like her. There's lots of reasons they don't like her.
Kamala Harris's approval rating is now at 28%, which is an historic low for any modern vice president.
We're hearing it from mainstream media, one outlet after another, one leak after another. That Kamala Harris is the worst vice president ever, the worst politician ever.
We don't see the vice president. What people are saying to me, and I'm sure they're saying it to you, where's the vice president? Some White House officials are feeling that she came off looking unprepared for inevitable questions about when she might visit the southern border.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
The point that Lester Holt was making was obvious to anyone else who was watching this interview, which is that the issues at the border are inextricably linked with the portfolio that she's been given.
The border is secure. We have a secure border.
Bidenomics is working.
Prices have gone up. And families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up.
He picked Kamala Harris to be his running mate. She was ranked and is ranked as the most liberal senator in the United States Senate. So he could have gone the other way, but he went to the left.
Joe Biden is running for re-election, and I will be his ticket mate. Full stop. Full stop. Sit.
Here you see the propagandist machine in full technicolor. She went from pariah to darling in just a matter of months. And one thing that I'm so happy to see is Americans waking up to the idea that the mainstream media is absolutely full of it, and they are getting their sources at other places. Thank God. Legacy media as we know it, mainstream media as we know it, is officially dead RIP, you guys are over. MSNBC should take themselves and resign off the air. Take yourself off the air. All of you corrupt fake news corporations need to revamp. Jeff Bezos just announced that he wants more conservative commentators. He was actually the sole reason why the Washington Post did not endorse Kamala Harris. The LA Times didn't endorse Kamala Harris. First time in decades that they haven't endorsed their Democratic nominee. And you're seeing a huge shift. The Joe Rogan podcast with Donald Trump, which I highly recommend, has over 33 million views. That's more than CNN, ABC, every single major network television station, every single major fake news corporate media network combined times 100. And I'm loving every second of it. It gives me such great pride and joy to see a critical thinking awareness. This is what our forefathers imbued in the very fabric of our nation, the Constitution, our glorious republic, your sovereignty. It's literally the reason why we had a revolutionary war for rights, civil liberties, and freedoms that we all enjoy today. Your sovereignty is critical thinking. You may not have a lot of control in the world, but you have absolute sovereignty and dominion over how you look at the world and make sense of it, which is why in every single one of my classes, I'm not trying to brag, but I really tried hard not to teach my students what to think, but to teach them how to think, because that's what Emerson, Thoreau, Jefferson, Whitman, our great thinkers, philosophers, artists, the composers of our Constitution, that's what they were all about. That's why. You don't get it, but that's why we're showing up. And that's why this movement, MAGA, is huge. That's why everybody's voting for Trump. That's why he can fill every arena and Kamala can barely fill a storage facility. This is why this movement is unstoppable. And listen to this from Jonathan Karl from ABC.
I was there for about 6 hours yesterday. First thing I've got to say, Madison Square Garden was packed. People waited hours to get in. They sat through hour after hour of this rally. They were fervent in their devotion to all things Trump. Trump has created a movement. There is no doubt. I cannot think of another Republican figure of my lifetime who could have come into a Democratic city like New York and put together anything like that.
They can't understand it, and they never will. Americans want America back. I wrote something on X that I want to read to you. When you let in millions of criminal migrants into the country and don't even have the decency to call them what they are, they call them immigrants. They don't call them illegal, undocumented, or criminal migrants, which is what they are, nor have the sack to call out the people who failed their oath of office and let it all happen, aka Kamala and Biden. When you scream defund the police when all of our major American cities, and then some, are riddled with skyrocketing crime and drug infestations and fail to report that accurately. When you execute a coup on a sitting president and install a puppet dummy in every sense of the word who didn't earn a single vote, who is the very personification of cancerous woke DEI ideologies. When you yell border bill, fund your forever wars, when it wasn't even close to a bill addressing the border, but rather a bill designed to give billions more of our hard-earned taxpayer money to pay for a war that no military expert worth their weight in gold concedes is a war that Ukraine can win. When you ceaselessly propagate falsities, hoaxes, fabrications, and lies, and when you get called on it, you have the audacity to look us in the eye and say, nope, we've done no such thing. Are you really surprised we are part of this force of nature to get our country, common sense, the America we grew up in, back? I highly recommend you follow me on X, because there's a lot of stuff I can post on X that I can't post anywhere else. So I'll leave the link in the description and show notes. Let me know in the comments what you think. I can't wait. Tap that thumbs up because it helps us reach more people. Check out these videos coming on the screen right now, especially these if you missed it yesterday. Tap my face and subscribe. It's free. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless America. Vote. I'll see you soon.